The weirdest guy you ever went on a date with? We all have them, those odd encounters, odd guys who do something that makes them unforgettable for all the wrong reasons. I had a guy, sweet as can be, handsome, fun, good night, but he took a massive dump in my shower and left. He will now, forever be known as that guy. This guy yelled at me on our first date and got jealous someone complimented the shirt I was wearing, laugh out loud. There's a story here. Bought the drinks before I arrived despite me asking him not to, acted offended when I said I wanted to buy my own drink. Eventually calmed down, but he just gave me weird vibes, so I wrapped the date up as quickly as I could and told him I didn't want to meet up again as I didn't think we'd be a good fit. By the time I'd even got back to my car, my WhatsApp was filled with messages calling me a soulless blunt who refused to give a decent guy a chance, and how rude and out of line I was for implying he might have spiked my drink. Spend the next 2 months being stalked and harassed by him across multiple apps and multiple profiles on each one. Finally stopped after I reported him to the police. Absolute nutter. Sounds like you dodged a semi-truck there. I went on a date with a guy who then proceeded to stalk me for 2 months, calling me every hour with a private number, even at work mind you, messaging me every day, and creating new accounts each time I blocked him. He even tried to blackmail me, claiming he would call the cops and accuse me of R-word, even though we never were intimate. I blocked him right after that date. He then threatened self-deletion if I didn't respond and, finally, involved his mother, who called me to apologize for his behavior and invited me to their house. That was weird as hell. Wow, that's overwhelming. I hope you didn't accept her invitation. Well, yeah, I'm not flipping crazy, and at this point, I honestly felt like he was holding his mom at pew-pew point. It was so weird. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he turned out to be a serial spiller. I don't know if this counts, but I was once someone's first date with a man, and the guy was like an emotional roller coaster throughout the whole evening, from manic joy to, like, fighting back tears, and everything in between. At the end of the date I said that I had a nice time, to be polite, but didn't want to date again, and then he went dark really quickly and I was like, bye. Wow, that'd be an epic thing to watch. How'd you get through it? I'm a pretty understanding guy, but I was getting increasingly uncomfortable. It was like I was half therapist, half wildlife documentarian. Here we have the wild spotted gay virgin. Insert Hinterland's Who's Who theme here. For some reason that feels like the funniest thing ever right now. Went to dinner with a guy who quickly told me the reason he's gay was because he was bad touched as a child. Proceeded to trauma dump on me for 45 minutes without straying from himself being the topic of conversation. At the end he was very joyous and appreciative, saying we should get together again. In my experience it's actually been common for hookups to trauma dump, but that was the first time someone had done it over dinner, laugh out loud. This is literally my biggest dating pet peeve. Like, if I've known you for less than an hour, there is no justifiable reason for me to know that your dad pew-pewed himself in the face when you were 13 and your ex set fire to all your clothes and the court case is ongoing, etc., etc. It's depressing, it kills the mood. I'm not a flipping social worker and quite frankly I barely know you, so I honestly don't really care all that much, so I have absolutely nothing to say in response and I'd rather be at home playing the PlayStation. It happens so often as well. What's wrong with these people? Uncle Touchy liked to play, pass the bread bowl. Yikes. Starbucks coffee date with a guy from Match.com. He showed up with his mother, who proceeds to interview me. We were both in our 40s. That's hilarious. I was in the hospital having my kidney removed because of an infection. Someone I was talking to on Grindr a few days before thought it would be sweet to show up to the hospital with flowers and food. I had never met him in person. He kept saying this is a great date. I was on IV pain meds. I was lucid enough at one point to tell the nurse, I have no idea who this flipping person is. I have no idea, to this day, how he knew I was in the hospital or what room I was in. Lesson learned. People can just walk into the main hospital entrance and go into patient rooms. Hospitals are the best places to take a dump if you're road tripping. Or in desperate need during a drive. You just go in and ask the desk for directions to the urgent care, head the direction they tell you, then you go find a bathroom. They are always so clean. Here you didn't have to check in at the main entrance even though there's a help desk. If you enter in the ER there is a cop and you have to show ID. It's wild. A guy was keen on having a date. I told him he could choose where we'd have dinner. So we get to the restaurant and the server comes to take our orders. He signals for me to order first, so I do. He then declines to order. Turns out it was a Greek Orthodox fasting day. He was Greek and full of youthful religious fervor. I understood, being church-going myself, but eating alone with another person was just weird. He should have thought of doing something else or let you know about that in advance. I hate eating alone when I'm with somebody else, so I can understand the awkwardness. It was so weird. I would feel like there was a giant spotlight on me, can only imagine. Certainly felt like it.
Thanks for checking us out. Speaking of better bathroom hygiene, experience next-level bathroom comfort with a Luxe Lou electric bidet seat that heats, washes, dries, and lights your way to cleaner, greener mornings. Enjoy an instant heated seat with adjustable warmth for cozy comfort year-round and personalized posterior wash with adjustable water temperature and pressure for gentle, effective cleaning. Skip toilet paper and step into irritation-free freshness with instant warm water and a quick warm air dryer. Retractable self-cleaning nozzles rinse automatically between uses to keep maintenance minimal and hygiene high. Energy-saving modes and auto shut-off heating reduce power use and help lower bills, while a soft, auto-adjusting night light guides safe navigation after dark. Installs in minutes on any elongated toilet with included brackets and hoses, no plumber required. Upgrade your routine, cut waste, and enjoy a cleaner, more comfortable bathroom experience. Luxe Lou Bidet Toilet Seat. Find the link in the video drop box below.
A guy who wanted me to wear a diaper. I try not to judge, but wow, just wow. Indeed. So was it because he likes how it looks, or did he actually want you to use it? I have no idea, nor do I want to. He just wanted me to wear one. I was very young and did it out of feeling obligated. It was strange and uncomfortable, and then I said I didn't want to hang out anymore. After that he was weirdly stalkerish. I hope he is in diaper heaven now. Well, him being a bit of a crazy person doesn't surprise me when you force someone to do that on a first date. Probably was getting off to you being uncomfortable or embarrassed. Most likely. I don't think it's true for everyone with that fetish. I don't judge it at all, but I suspect for him there was an age component even more than the baby diaper, and that's why he got weird after being rejected. I thought he wanted to make out in the trunk. Turns out he just didn't want to pay for extra people when going to a drive-in movie. OMG, wow, I've heard of cheap dates, but that's extreme. That's not even the worst part. Okay, now you have to share. When he told me, get in the trunk, I thought it was a kinky thing, so I did. Then I realized he was driving, so I thought we were going off to a secluded spot, so I decided to get naked and spread my legs. But I was kinda tired that night, so I fell asleep. I kinda heard voices as I went in and out, until eventually we stopped and he opened the trunk. We had frex, and I found it weird that he just unzipped rather than getting fully undressed, still hot though. When we finished, he asked me if I wanted any snacks, and I was like, huh? And he told me that he brought me to a drive-in with his friends, and that I should probably get dressed. To make things worse, he was originally not even going to come over to greet me. He was just gonna open the trunk and wait for me to get out, but apparently one of his friends saw me while I was asleep and gave him a heads up. Your first thought if someone tells you to get in the trunk and starts driving is to get ready to be smashed. Weird. Hahaha, now that is a story. I was mortified. Broke up with him later on for this situation, especially since I'm not a fan of drive-in movies, so the payoff wasn't even worth it. I was snooking up with a 58-year-old dude. I made him have a heart attack. I was giving him the snow job of his life. He squirts hard and he fainted. I managed to wake him up. He told me he had a heavy weight on his chest, and very sharp pain from belly to brain. Okay, oh my flipping god, what? The 911 call, the aftermath with medics, ambulance, etc. It was my first time with him. I didn't even know his true name. I fled when he went to the hospital in an ambulance. I was almost sure to be called by police because he might have passed away. I had spilled a man with my tongue, but nothing happened. I DM'd him the next day, and he explained to me that 3 hours of edging and foreplay with Viagra pill in his bloodstream was not a good idea for him. He called me his funeral blower. Met a guy off Tinder. Met at his place. We watched Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, we smashed, showered, made out, told me he loved me and started planning our next date while I'm getting dressed. Told him to slow down, and he started crying and told me to leave. Blocked on the way out of the door. Met a guy on Hinge. We had great banter for a few weeks and decided to meet up for dinner and drinks. At dinner, he went on a rant about how much he hated children, he's an OBGYN, and thought gay people were gross and annoying. He was flamboyantly gay, which I was fine with. Against my better judgment, I walked him back to his place, 2 blocks, and he asked me inside for a nightcap. I agreed, and when we got into his apartment, I saw that he had a dog in a crate. Okay, I have dogs, but he banged on the dog crate a bunch to tell the dog to stop whining, not okay, and then told me how he didn't really want a dog, but thought other guys would like it. Before I can leave, he starts to kiss me, aggressively. I say, no thanks, I have to go, and he pulls me into his bed and forcefully holds me down on top of him in some sort of bear hug. For reference, he was about 6 feet 3 inches and pushing 220 pounds. I say I need to leave and he calls me a wussy and says, I hope you die of the 80s virus. I left moments later and I got a message asking for a second date about 20 minutes later. Needless to say, I haven't seen him again. Bullet dodged. Was more of a one-nighter, but it kinda blended the lines. Anywho. It ended and I was leaving his place and he said, oh I almost forgot, and proceeds to open a dresser drawer and reveal a full-on prize drawer. I felt like I was back at the pediatric dentist, stickers, little toys, trinkets, the whole 9 yards. He pulled out a little baggie, put some little charms and a sticker in it, and just said, to remember me. I awkwardly said thanks and was mentally screaming, what the actual flip, all the way to my car. Nice dong, but I did not seek out a second date. This is probably one of the most wholesome things that someone can do after Frex. Unexpected, yes. I would think he had good humor, I don't see the problem. Oh, I think this is cute, to be honest. I love gimmicks like this, but I understand why you were taken aback. He sounds autistic. My one just wouldn't even shut up talking about himself. It got so tedious, ended up having a friend make an emergency mobile call to get me out of there. I've always wondered if he'd stop with my dong in his mouth. Guess it's one of those mysteries I'll never be able to answer. I went on a date to a bar with a guy one evening. It was our first meeting. We introduced ourselves, the whole, hey how are you thing, and started talking. During the conversation he started sneaking in comments about me, my appearance, my clothes, whatever have you, that I considered to be blatantly disrespectful. I told him politely that I didn't like the way he was talking to me and that I needed him to be a little bit nicer. The dude completely and utterly lost his crap. It was full on psycho meltdown in the middle of a crowded bar. He was literally screaming at me and calling me every nasty name under the sun. It was so bad the entire bar went quiet and was staring at the spectacle that was this dude going off on me. The bartender, who was an older lady, called security, who came and split us up and they got me out of there, thank God. That entire thing all happened in less than 20 minutes. Not entirely sure what ended up happening to him. Obviously I blocked him the second I left, but for a couple months afterwards I would get these random numbers texting me at weird times with these huge long multi-part word salad-like messages that made absolutely no sense whatsoever. I swear I had to block at least 5 different numbers before the dude finally stopped harassing me. That crap was wild. Thanks for watching. How would you handle someone taking a dump in your shower? What kind of first date nightmares have you had? Discuss it in the comments section. Please subscribe to Mother Moose, and find the Luxe Le Bidet toilet seat in the link below.